It's Wednesday. You know what that means. We are here to do an AEW Dynamite review, full show review of the December 30th, 2020 show. And this is the Brodie Lee tribute show. And we have our own tribute to Brodie Lee as well. You will hear the 10 sounds ringing of the bell. And we'll get the podcast started after that.
Here for the people, the best show that's here, so listen in. Let the knowledge begin, the opinion and the lesson. Yes, everyday pro wrestling, they can never be you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans, for the fans. I am joined, like I am every Wednesday night, by my co-host, Derek.
What's up?
What is going on, everybody? Tonight's show is actually going to be a tribute show to Brodie Lee. So we are going to be talking about the man's career, some of our favorite moments with him, and I hope people in the chat can come on in and provide some of their favorite moments as well. We're just going to talk about Brodie Lee. So if you guys could, it would be tremendous if you hit the like button. This episode, there's no advertisements on this one. There's no Manscaped. There's not going to be any of the usual ads. I wanted to make this about Brodie Lee more so than anything else. You may hear some ads for other podcasts when you listen to the audio version of this, but I really wanted to focus in on Brodie Lee tonight. Because that's what this is all about, and that's what unites us as pro wrestling fans. And the first thing that I really, really want to say is, as wrestling fans, we get used to hearing about wrestlers' deaths, and it's kind of one of the saddest things that comes to your mind when you think about it. You look at half of the guys from WrestleMania 7 who competed on that card. They've all passed away. But certain deaths hit differently. And when I say they hit differently, you feel it more. It means more. It's kind of personal to you. It makes me think of names like Owen Hart. You had mentioned one before.
My boy, Eddie.
Eddie Guerrero. It just feels different sometimes. And Brodie Lee is the latest one that just feels different. Probably because he was an active performer.
Yeah.
And we all were just thinking dang, man. Where is he? When's he coming back? I thought he was going to feud with Page. I was already in my head, Brodie Lee's going to come back. He's going to feud with Hangman Page or John Silver. Those had to be the two people. And we didn't get the chance to see that. But more importantly, a family lost a great person. He had 2 sons, a wife. Brodie Lee is tremendous. And some of the moments that make me smile when I think about Brodie Lee are, shout out to Rob when he's listening to this. I don't know if he's watching live or not, but the man friggin' hated the Buffalo Sabres, even though he's from Rochester. And he always wore the Maple Leafs hat. If you saw all the the vignettes tonight in the packages, you saw a lot of the Toronto Maple Leafs gear he was wearing. And I believe he is we're going to say the Washington football team fan as well. And I'm not a Bills fan. So I think more and more this makes sense to me as to why you could relate to him.
Yeah.
Because Derek's also from Buffalo, just a pure hater, man. Pure hater when it comes down to it, bro. But you know what? I got to show some love to everybody that's in the chat. Mr. Foul, what is going on? I just saw you pop in here. Tokyo Rockstar. R.I.P. to Brodie Lee. Nothing wrong with that, brother. Sick, rest easy, Brodie. Appreciate it. BJ, respect. I hope you guys are doing good. BJ, we hope you're doing well, brother. The tears stopped and you brought them back. I'm sorry, Jocelyn. My bad. Team Ace said, R.I.P. Brodie Lee. Thank you, Team Ace. B-Boy Skyline said this card was epic. Hats off to the wrestling community in general, and I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, this was a good card tonight. He made a mark in AEW. He definitely did. It was cool for WWE to let AEW use some of their photos. I don't think they would let other companies do that before.
Nah.
And I don't even know if those were all WWE's. Those might have been personal shots. Josh Burton from Everything College Basketball says, what a beautiful show. It deserves well over 1 million. Agreed, Josh. Agreed. Reading the tweets from the past few days, he was a great man. Definitely. How did I become a fan of Brodie Lee? Was up, down, down, B-Boy Skyline said. Yeah, video games unite people, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Derek's going to have a lot of good things to say on this one, trust me. Josh said, I'm glad WWE people were tweeting along as well. It'd be cool if Triple H acknowledges it. I'm sure he will. Jesus DeLeon. What's going on, Jesus? Yo, he's so good at that, right? Like, just on point, on cue for it. Really came out of the blue. Good to just see everybody in the chat. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. File said, hey, Derek Conrad, it's been an emotional night and a great show.
What's up, File? I haven't seen you in a minute, bro.
Yeah,
I know you got stuff cooking, but get back to your other stuff too, man.
Now, let's get into parts of this card, and then I think towards the end we'll kind of, reflect back on some of our Brodie Lee moments. And chat, if you guys have them, write them down, build them up for me. Like I said, it's very important that we just talk about this stuff, and I like to not forget people. Sometimes people just, kind of let people go by the wayside real quick. It's okay to remember people, man. And this show was tremendous, like everyone in the chat said tonight. Really, really good stuff. We start with Moxley on Brodie Lee, which was really cool for him to kind of just talk about the man he was. And we're just going to go over all of these things really quickly tonight. We opened up with Matt Hardy and Private Party versus the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana. Fun match, I thought.
Oh, yeah. This is a good match.
Fun match. Colt was a favorite. Colt had, if you were watching it, Colt had you kind of feeling for him, man. Like, the tears in people's eyes during this, you could say it almost in every match, but Colt was the first one out there, and he was holding, like, the tears back. Yeah. You could see it. But I will say this. All of these people in this match, they performed their asses off tonight.
Yes, they did.
They did very well. Matt Hardy played it up as a heel. I thought Private Party did very well in this. It was fun, man.
Yeah.
Period.
Everything was on point. I was not disappointed at all. But then again, I really didn't have anything to really be disappointed with since AEW started. I mean, there have been ups and downs, but nothing to really say like, yo, what was that?
Tonight was a fun show, though. Like, this was just meant to be a overall fun show for people to get into. In the end of this match, though, the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana, they hit, like, the Chicago skyline into the Meltzer driver, into that Superman pen. Yeah. Colt. That always makes me laugh when he does that. Really dope, though, to see that.
Yeah.
After the match, here come the Acclaim coming out. And before the Acclaim could say anything, your boys come out. Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian.
Yo, Christopher Daniels running out there like a dad.
Derek, the first thing he said, look at them two coming out like two dads. They toss the Acclaim in the ring. They end up eating super kicks and the Dusty Rhodes elbows from Colt. Good moment. Way to send the people home happy. Then you get Darby Allin on Brodie Lee. Darby Allin, man, that one kind of hurt a little bit. That he really wanted to wrestle Brodie Lee because he thought that he would be an interesting matchup for him.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a good match.
I think that would have been a great match.
Facts. I'll take that. Yeah. I really think that could have been like a TNT championship match in the future.
Yeah, because you know what? That would have been, Brodie Lee was like a bruiser, and Darby Allin was the one, who take that beating. And I think that would have been like the frustration, like Brodie Lee, like, dude, what do I have to do to put this kid down? And I think that just would have turned out to be like an A+ match.
It could have been really something special. And I think the dynamics between them, I could just see Brodie Lee hitting a sit-out powerbomb on him, and it would just be picture perfect for a near fall.
Oh, yeah.
Or winning the match. Really good. Next match, we had Lance Archer with Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. The teams are a little weird tonight, but they set up the card to get everybody from the Dark Order on, versus Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, and The Blade. And if you guys didn't know, I mentioned that Brodie Lee is from Rochester, and he kind of grew up in not my area, but kind of our area, to the point to where I had heard of him before. A lot of people probably would have known who he was. I've seen him in like Dragon Gate before, and I was just like, oh, this is the guy that they talk about from the area. Really good. So Eddie Kingston, Butcher, and Blade, I knew they all knew him. And it was really special to have them in this match. And Lance Archer came out dressed up like your boy, Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff, dude. Like, I thought that was a nice tribute that they had in this one. In the end, Uno and Grayson get the win with a backpack cutter. Even in the match, Eddie Kingston was taunting Jake the Snake. You know, they had to still get a little heat, and Jake the Snake hit him with a short arm, and I mean short arm clothesline. Jake was great here too. I was glad to see Jake get some time in the ring.
I want everybody to go back and watch it if you can. Low key, Jake the Snake was on some real, like, funny stuff. Because like if you missed it, he was standing on top of by the entrance, and he had his back turned towards the ring. But as he was doing it, all you saw was
when they hit the backpack stunner. It was the greatest. Jake was funny. Sometimes you got to watch the stuff in the background, and you guys will end up laughing. Connor in the house as well. What's good, Connor? Josh, I can't wait to talk about that moment that you brought up in the chat. Deep Six Pro Wrestling says, good evening. Only watched the first segment, but I was at work and saw the bell salute and Moxley, and I was getting emotional, so I had to save the rest of the show when I get home. Yeah, definitely check it out. I'm telling you, well worth it. Six said, remember how we all called Luke Harper Uncle Luke in XGW? XGW was an E-Fed that I was in with Sick, and we all like ran it. Yes, Luke Harper's name was Uncle Luke. If you are a fan of Luke's music, you know why. Definitely cool moments with him. Josh said, on a wrestling note, take Conti and Anna Jay, a good little team. Yeah, they continue to get better.
Yeah, I would love to see them go at it a little bit more.
Connor, what's good, bro? Team A said he made his mark on the indie before he was getting signed by WWE and AEW. He definitely did. Ring of Honor too, he was a part of. Good times. B-Boy Skylines is giving a shout out to ESW, Empire State Wrestling. Best memories of him is when you went to the WWE live events when he was Luke Harper and the Wyatt family, and hearing people go, yeah. Some of those impersonations were spot on. This damn show kept getting me. Facts, Rob. Facts. I brought up the podcast earlier for you too, when he's talked about how he didn't like the Sabres. So me and Rob always reflected back on that when we were listening to him. I think it was like one of the first podcasts we heard him on. We're like, this dude doesn't like the Buffalo Bills or Sabres? And I was just like, oh, come on. You're hurting me. Afterwards, we hear words from Dax Harwood, Arn Anderson, and an emotional Bryce Remsburg. Bryce looked like he was taking it really hard. And he said one line that I did write down that I thought we had to say here. There was a Mount Rushmore of dads in pro wrestling. Put Brodie Lee on it as the first person.
I would agree with that.
I respect that. That was definitely a dope thing for him to say. I can't be mad at that. No. That was well done. And Bryce, like I said, he really looked like he was taking the news hard with everything. Yeah. Let's see here. We had the next match, Hangman Page, Alex Reynolds, and Johnny Hungy, John Silver. Some of the best BTE moments are with them. I'll try to save that towards the end. They take on MJF, Santana, and Ortiz. MJF was given a gift earlier by Santana and Ortiz. We don't know what it was. and he ended up getting a gift of tights with the Puerto Rican flag on it and a headband. And MJF came out rocking it with Wardlow, Hager, and the boys during all of this. This was fun. Silver and Reynolds come out, and Silver's wearing kind of like a tribute attire to Brodie Lee. Reynolds is in his usual Dark Order gear, and they throw papers at Santana and Ortiz in the beginning. And then Hangman Page, I don't even know where he got these from. He had papers too, threw them at MJF. And if you guys watch BTE, you know what the papers are for. And eventually, during all of this match, there's a beatdown. And at one point, Wardlow tries to interfere, and then the big red Eric Rowan shows up out of nowhere. That was a great spot for him to show up.
Yes, yeah. That was like perfect. He showed a lot of aggression. It was great to see Eric. Just because he hasn't been in WWE for quite some time now, right? So
yeah,
I mean, to see him back on the screen at this moment in time, like that also hit hard too. So it's like, because they were rocking out for a good amount of time with each other.
I have to give MJF his props in this too. MJF was still being a heel during all of this, arguing with the kid, getting his heat. Oh, shut up, you whiny little brat. Flipping him off, all this stuff. And he eventually makes it out to the ring to snatch his mask off of his face. He was wearing like one of the Dark Order masks. And eventually, -1, Brodie Lee Jr. cracks him with a kendo stick across the head. And this was the downfall of everything in this. Santana and Ortiz were on point here. I know Silver had a couple of slip-ups during all of this, but I still think Silver put all of his heart into this match, and it showed. He actually ends up hitting the discus lariat on Ortiz. They beat Ortiz's ass at the end. I don't know why they did that to him. But they get the 1, 2, 3. They celebrate, and then Rowan makes his way back out, and he has a sign that says, "Goodbye for now, my brother," and then he said, "See you down the road." Yeah. Like, really well done. The big man was crying. Silver had the tears in his eyes. It was very emotional for that, man.
Yeah, definitely. It was great tribute. Like I said, great to see Rowan out there again to represent for the Wyatt family / Bludgeon Brothers.
Right? Yeah, just something different, man. Dude. I can't. I'm not mad at it, dude. Just well done for what they did here. Eddie Kingston, I thought, had a really good promo too for Brodie Lee. They had him backstage, kind of with the screen behind him, and he had come out and he cut a little bit of a heel promo on the Dark Order before, but he talked about knowing Brodie Lee because Eddie Kingston was on the Indies for a very, very long time, and he brought up that your father's never really gone. And it kind of hit me just about people in general. Your father's never really gone because everything he taught you, you're still applying. And you're going to teach someone that stuff one day. And I was like, right. Man, that was deep. And it just kind of faded out. Eddie Kingston has a way with words that's just beautiful. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to put it.
It's like mesmerizing.
Yeah, he's just like one of those dudes you would just sit like at a round table with and just chill and just talk about something. And he's about to drop some knowledge on you. And I'm like, respect, bro. Yeah. Love Eddie Kingston and what he does. Next, we have Ty, whatever you want to say. Ty Conti and number 99, Anna Jay versus Penelope with your boy, Kip Sabian and Miro, and Dr. Britt Baker and Rebel.
Kip looking like Tony Hawk today, bro.
Let Kip rock, man. Kip was having fun tonight. This was a fun matchup. I agree with what Josh had brought up in the chat before about them being a great tag team. I think Conti and Anna Jay, they got some chemistry here. And I'm interested to see what they end up doing with a lot of the storylines involving people in the Dark Order and where things are going to end up going from here. Yeah. The Queen Slayer ends up getting applied to Penelope for a tap-out victory. Not mad at it. Like I said, the Dark Order shined tonight. Anna Jay did very well, and I think she's improved so much from the time she debuted.
Yeah.
Like, when did she come in? It was that show in the gym in Atlanta, right? When the pandemic first happened.
Yeah.
Look at her now. Like, crazy. She's a big-time star, I feel, in the women's division.
Yeah. She has grown tremendously, and a lot of it has to do with Brodie Lee. So, and you can see it in her eyes after the match. Well, I mean, like, you can see it in everybody's eyes, but this one hit hard for her big time because he was the one that helped coach her all the way through to get her where she's at right now.
Right. I see a lot of people showing John Silver some love in the chat, and I do agree. He is a big-time babyface waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. Clean sweep tonight is right, Ace. For sure. We end up going through what's going to be on next week's card. So next week's card is now the, was it New Year's Bash? Was that what they were calling it? I think
that's what they were saying.
Something like that. We got Snoop Dogg on the card. He'll be on commentary. Jon Moxley returns. Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix for the AEW Championship to make up for their World Title Eliminator tournament match that never happened. We are also going to have Hikaru Shida defending the women's title against Abaddon.
I am very excited about that.
That bite last week was pretty dope between them, not going to front.
Yeah.
Great. Bucks and SCU, basically Team Cali versus the Acclaim and TH2. I definitely want to see the Acclaim come out rapping and TH2 dancing to it. I think that could be money. The Acclaim really won me over. I know Jesus was a real fan of their song. What was it? Buck Season? I know. Jesus was playing that all week last week. Hager's going to fight Wardlow. And we've got Cody versus Matt Sydal. Solid card. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'd be a very, very good show.
Definitely. Let us get into the main event. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we got Jericho first. Chris Jericho. He had told some stories on, I think it was on Twitter or on a podcast, an interview. I heard this story about him. He said he worked with Brodie Lee 27 times. And he had just brought up how Brodie Lee knew all these interesting facts when he went over to other countries. I missed part of the story for what he was saying about a marking on the ceiling and how he had brought religion into it. And I don't want to botch it for whatever he had said because I can't remember the country. I can't remember what he had said, but he was like, oh, it's for praying. And Jericho was like, how did you know that? Like, Jericho loves intelligent people, intelligent conversations. And I thought that was really cool for him to show off that moment. And he talked about his dog. And Chris Jericho's dog supposedly doesn't like anybody. It's one of those barking dogs like, I don't like you right away.
Right.
And Chris Jericho said the dog loved Brodie Lee right away. So he said, even my dog knew. That's a good dude right there. Right. Someone you could trust. So I thought that was a very good story by Chris Jericho with that. What is going on, Pro Wrestling Shoot? Jesse, appreciate you, brother. No worries about being late. I'm happy you're here, bro. Happy you're here. New Year's Smash. Thank you, Foul. Thank you, Foul. That's why Foul's got the wrench next to the name, baby. Yeah. I appreciate that. For sure. Main event time. Cody, Orange, and 10, who they're all Brodie Lee Jr.'s favorite wrestlers. So he put them in a team together versus Team Taz. I like it. Hook, not in there yet. Hook wasn't ready yet, but you're hating, bro. You're hating. Team Taz comes out. 10 hits a sit-out powerbomb. Notes courtesy of Derek here. Let me see here.
All
10
highlights.
You said 10 steals the match.
Yeah.
I thought 10 was the main focal point of this. I thought Vance could have done a really great job with this. I like him. He's got presence too. He reminds me a lot of Will Hobbs and what people saw in him. I saw the same thing in Preston Vance when they first called him into being in the Dark Order.
Yeah.
Orange Punch, Crossroads into 10's Spine Buster. Spine on the pine. And then eventually Team Taz is getting ready to put a beat down on them after the match. After Ricky Starks takes the L. Darby Allin comes. I thought we were just going to get
Spanish.
I thought we were going to get away from it for 1 week. Hopefully that puts a smile on Jocelyn's face. Darby Allin comes out. Shout out to Casey, wherever he is. Darby Allin comes out, and he's getting ready to skateboard down, and then all of a sudden the lights go out again. And what did you say right when it happened?
Dad enters. Here comes Dad.
Who came? It's Sting! Sting ends up showing up as well. We had that... What do we call the ice?
Shaved ice.
Shaved ice coming from everywhere. The snow is coming down, and Sting was there. Sting ends up making the save with Darby. It was a lot of fun. Great way to close out the match portion of the show. And afterwards, we get a speech from Cody. Derek wrote chills next to it. I thought Cody did a great job with the quote, everything else. They eventually had Brodie's music play, and his wife and his son, Brodie Jr., comes out. Brodie Jr. rocking the Dark Order mask again. And they bring his father's wrestling boots and put them in the middle of the ring. I don't know if it was a bandana or a flag that they put next to it.
Yeah, it was I want to say it was a purple bandana.
Yeah, they put the bandana down. Tony Khan came out as well as part of it. And respect for Tony coming out and doing that, because I know he usually doesn't like being on the camera. And he gave a lot of props to Brodie Lee Jr., man. He gave him the TNT Championship. He talked about how his father was the greatest TNT champion. I don't know if that was a shot because Cody was right there too, but it made me smile, and I was just like, you know what? Brodie winning the TNT title was really cool. He gives his son a replica TNT Championship belt, and they just basically ride off into the sunset with this video, and it was well put together video package.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Ruckus who did that, man, but I'm pretty sure it was, because he was working up pretty late on something. Really dope, man. I loved all the photographs with all the wrestlers from Bray. They had stuff from backstage, him with his kids, him on the indie scene with so many people. It was really heartwarming to see that happen, and it was dope, man.
Yeah. It had me choked up, like I said, because this is like, no disrespect to any of the other wrestlers that have passed away, you know, much respect to them and their careers. This just hits different for me because Brodie came in, I never knew who Brodie was until he came in as Luke Harper in the WWE with Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan. This was my first time seeing him. So Brodie had the same effect on me that had the same effect when Eddie Guerrero died. This dude could tell you, like, I loved Eddie from WCW all the way to WWE. Eddie was just that kind of wrestler for me. And I felt like I felt the energy from Eddie just like I felt it from Brodie. So this hit hard for me, and you know, this one choked me up a lot too. I think Eddie's choked me up a little bit more, just because like Eddie was there for so long, and I basically started watching him, and then that happened. So now same thing happened here. I didn't have that connection with Brodie before that. If I would have had that same connection, it'd be on the same level as Eddie. My connection with Brodie is just a little bit behind.
And Sick had a really cool moment. I don't think I've ever heard a wrestling fan talk bad about Brodie. I have not either. I actually heard a cool story from Kyle Masters. I'm going to give a shout out to the All Elite podcast. I think they're doing a tribute video for him tonight as well. Make sure you guys check that out after. He had brought up a story about meeting him at a WrestleMania, and I think he was doing like his signing in the Elimination Chamber at the WrestleMania show or whatever. And he went in to talk to him, and he had an Undisputed Era shirt on, and he was like, "What's that?" And then he was like, "What? What are you talking about, man?" And then I think Rowan or somebody was like, "That's the Undisputed Era in NXT." He was like, "I know, I'm just fucking with him." And then they shared a nice laugh out of it, because he was like, "Is this dude really asking me like what's going on in his own company?" So that was a pretty cool story, I think, that he had about it. And if it wasn't Kyle and I was mistaken, I saw somebody write it on Twitter, and I thought it was a really cool story. Yeah. I guess I'll start with the Brodie Lee stories. And Chad, if you guys have any favorite moments or things that you want to talk about, bring them up real quick, and that's how we'll end the show tonight. We'll go off into the sunset, and then I'll make an announcement at the end. But the idea of Brodie Lee is just great. And AEW Rochester, supposed to be my first AEW show. That is the week that all of this started. The COVID, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Bullshit. We were supposed to be there for his debut in AEW. And I've always been bummed that we missed out on him and Matt Hardy debuting, because love them both. I think they're both great wrestlers. And I really, really wish that we got to see that show. But with everything that happened, whatever, it's cool. But I really wish we would have been there for that show.
Yeah.
What about you? You got one for Harper or Brodie?
For Harper, I gotta say, like, my fondest memory is when he would always go, yeah. But the best part that this dude could tell you, I called out the Gator roll before Michael Cole called that out. So, Michael, if you see this, thank me for you learning the Gator roll.
Wait, time out. Michael Cole doesn't know the name of any moves.
But he started using it like a little bit after I started saying it. So it's just like back when we were rapping and you had that line that Fab took after you.
If he said it first, it's probably more famous. You know how that goes.
Well, Michael Cole's not famous.
Peace, bro.
But
keep the love. Keep the love. This is it. We're not here to bash Michael Cole.
No.
But
yeah, no. I gotta say, like, my favorite two matches that included Luke Harper. For one, the first match that I have to say, had to be the tag team match between Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, and the Usos. When they had the tag team match, best 2 out of 3.
Ooh, that was a good match, actually.
That was probably the best time I've ever seen, like, come out of, like, the Usos. Like, the Usos really impressed me. Like, now everybody knows I feel the Usos are sloppy. Not saying they're not a great team. They are a great team. I just think some of the moves that they do are kind of sloppy.
Derek's talking about this layer shirt. I want a resident hater of EPW. Like, this dude is the king of hate. Please.
Listen, I'm just saying. But all that aside, that was a fucking great match. The best match, Wyatt's versus The Shield.
Bro, that match was so great. They got This Is Awesome chants before they locked up.
Yes.
That was what I was going to bring up. When they got the This Is Awesome chants, like, it was so great. I was a big Shield guy at the time. Like, I was always Ambrose, Rollins, Reigns, like, those were my guys. And Derek was a Wyatt family guy, so he was always about Bray, Harper, Rowan. And the crazy thing is, we loved all 6 of them.
Right.
We were like, yes, let these dudes lock up. And it finally happened, and the right team went over, in my opinion. The Shield were already major over at the time. Yeah. Right before, what was this, WrestleMania 30.
Yep.
Because that's where it all went downhill for Bray.
Yeah.
But after that, though, that match, they were riding such a high wave that I was like, yo, they're going to do things with these guys. They had, like, my hope really high on all of them. I thought that was really good. Let's see what the chat's saying here real quick. Six said, if anything, he was underused. I can definitely agree with that.
Very underused.
We were just talking about him being the Intercontinental Champion. He beat Dolph Ziggler. You guys can see the picture.
That was a great match, too.
Dude, he caught him with that discus clothesline, and Dolph sold that shit like he got knocked out of his boots. He took that clothesline, bro, very well. And I thought it was a little cool IC title run for him. I had the picture up because I loved Luke Harper as the Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Good point, Sick. Sad to see he didn't get to debut with any fans. Yeah, but you could just tell by the buzz on the internet. People would have went crazy for it. I know they would have, Jesus.
Yeah.
Six said best big boot in the game. I do love some Brodie big boot.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Favorite moment in AEW, beating Cody for the AEW title. Favorite match was him and Moxley at Double or Nothing. The Cody match was great. Bro, was Rob here that night when we were watching it?
I think so.
Or maybe we called him after. Bro, me, him, and Rob, wherever we were, however the conversation was, we were in awe for like 20 minutes. Even after we did the show, we were like, yo, did Brodie Lee just kick the shit out of Cody, like Brock Lesnar style, and gave him no like offense at all? And then he dumped the championship belt remains on Cody like he said he would. They beat up Brandy. They beat up his brother. The Dark Order had heat that night, and that was well done. That was a great ending.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect.
Yeah, that was really good how they ended up doing that one. Let's see here. History is written by the winners. That did make me laugh when he said that. Ace said the Wyatt family versus the Brothers of Destruction at Survivor Series. That is a sleeper.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I think it was him and, if I'm not mistaken, Bray were the team against Undertaker and Kane. That was really dope, man. Luke Harper, yes, Rockstar. Thank you for bringing this back up. WrestleMania 33. I was at that Mania, and I met so many people at that WrestleMania. So shout out to everybody who I met. Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton storyline was very intriguing. SmackDown Live was hot at the time, and this was the moment where it started to go downhill, in my opinion, because they started like sabotaging the storylines a little bit. And I'm not here to like crap on WrestleMania 33. They should have definitely did a triple threat match once they had Harper, Bray, and Orton all in that feud with each other. Harper was the middleman who didn't trust. He had his alliance to Bray, and he was trying to tell Bray, don't trust Orton. Right. He's using you. Boom. He's going to burn down the house, all that. But Bray was so infatuated, like, no, I can help him. I can change him. Right. I got what they did there, but I think it could have just been so much better. And they had that battle royal where Harper, like, dude, he got over in that, and he told the people backstage, like, yo, you guys know they're going to start cheering me if we do this. It'll be fine. What happened? They started cheering him, and we're all sitting here talking about, why didn't he get that match at WrestleMania 33? He didn't. I wouldn't have put the title on him, but
right, he should have gotten.
He could have been in there for the WWE title at Mania.
Definitely could have gotten into that.
For sure. Let's see here. Pro Wrestling Shoot. He says, I only got one story for Brodie. At a WWE live event a couple years back, at the parking gate, tons of wrestlers passed by, and a bunch of kids were asking for autographs. Let me see. AJ Owens, even the New Day, ignored. But Brodie came and gave out autographs and pictures. Yeah, it's tough, though, when you're them, Jesse. I'll be honest. I've seen it firsthand, where I've seen, like, these guys are just trying to live, basically, and it's like, hey, come give me your autograph, go, da, da, da. And it's just like, And I've seen them go out of their way sometimes too, where I'm like, oh, that's super cool of them to do that. Yeah. Rob said I was getting the food. Yes. Him and Eric versus New Day street fight on SmackDown for the tag titles were great. The Bludgeon Brothers weren't. I hated the Hammers and everything else, but I liked them as a team. Yeah. I loved him and Rowan as a team.
They worked very well together as a team.
Yeah, they were just, how do I want to put this? They were like an NWA kind of tag team, I always felt. Yes. Two big dudes who were just going to come out there, destroy you, and beat the shit out of you. Right. Love it. I even liked when they did the short little run against like Daniel Bryan, where they were wearing like the heavy metal shirts kind of bands, and they would come out and just beat people down. Good stuff, good stuff. Rob said Arn had it coming when he got beat up by the Dark Order. Rob always says that. Arn's just out there trying to get a couple licks in, and then they grab him. Then they got to bully him a little bit. They always hit Arn right in the stomach, and down goes Arn, man. The Wyatts versus New Day for B-Boy Skyline in the chat.
You know what? That was a good storyline, too, though.
Yeah, with Xavier Woods being afraid of the Wyatt family until they got to the compound, and he had to... I think the Wyatt family won that too. Actually, I think they beat New Day.
What pay-per-view was that?
Oh, don't put me on the spot like this. I don't want to use Google. If someone knows, tell us in the chat what that pay-per-view was. I want to say it was like an Extreme Rules or one of those. It was a B pay-per-view. Really good, man. We talked about his Intercontinental title win, his tag team runs, BTE. They were great on BTE. Do you know how many times
he owned that? I'm sorry,
bro. They said that he never messed up when he was in character, but if he was off camera, he would make them laugh. Like, Brodie, get out of here, bro! Can't be laughing at this. He's like, that's fucking great. They had one where anytime John Silver would start like corpsing, like basically laughing in the middle of the scene, he would like smack him. Are you about to cry? Are you about to cry? And that was the cover up. No, Mr. Brodie, no. Really good. I thought it was so well done to make him the Exalted One, too. Yeah. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be... Who were the names we were hearing? Marty Scurll. Matt Hardy, people thought. I thought that he was the perfect choice to lead that faction.
Battleground.
Thank you, Skyline. Battleground. Brodie was a big guy that could fly, and he had a nice super kick, too. Yes.
He did have a nice super kick.
Yes, him and Dolph, bro, back and forth with those bad boys. Remember that was back when you would like cheer for Dolph.
Yeah.
Now I'm just sad when I see him. I'm just like, yeah.
I feel bad for Dolph, man. But yeah, no, Brodie he's got an illustrious career. Like for me, the short amount of time that I've seen him, his career was very illustrious. It's a great career. Did he get screwed in a lot of things? Yes, but he still made the best of it.
Jesus said when Brodie Lee won the TNT title on BTE was probably my greatest. I love the Dark Order Chili's one. I never want to see Reynolds and Silver dance like that again. We got Chili's. I remember when he came in with the title, he was like, "You want to touch it?" And someone felt it a little bit. He's like, "That's enough. That's enough." That was good stuff too. The Wyatt family versus the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer and Rhino. With Braun. Yes, that was good too.
What was that? That was a pay-per-view?
Remember, so they first brought Braun into the group, and then they had brought back the Dudley Boys, and they brought Dreamer back to have like an ECW kind of united match against them.
Okay, yeah.
I remember that. That was fun stuff.
Yeah, I forgot all about that one.
Mm-hmm. Also, the one when Trent's mom was on it too. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Brodie Lee comes in. Trent's mom hands him food. You know, the rest of the Dark Order fools are in there, and they're like, "Thanks, Trent's mom. Thanks, Sue. Love you." And then Brodie comes in. "What the fuck is this shit?" And he slams the bag down of the food, and then Sue walks back in, and she goes, "What's going on here?" "Sue, this motherfucker doesn't like your food." And then he was like, he pulled out the papers for her to smack Silver with. This is the only time I think I ever saw Brodie Lee laugh. When Sue misses with the papers, he was like, "Pick him up for Sue and let her do it again. Let her do it again." And he starts laughing during it, and then Sue hits him with the papers. Silver looks there, and then he goes, "You better fall the fuck down for Sue." And then he goes, "No." Dude, I don't know how they did not laugh during those. The Dark Order have been the best thing on BTE for the past year.
Yeah, they own that show.
Exactly, man. The Explosive Show, what's going on, man? He said, so happy they had the papers on Dynamite. Yes.
Yeah.
TLC, yes. Dude,
TLC,
they had some really like good stuff, man, with this dude. Yeah, man, I'm sad to see that we won't get to see these moments anymore. But like I said, I hope wrestlers go back and they watch him, learn from him, and I hope they also learn just to have a big heart, man. Be with your family sometimes. I know as fans, we always want to see these guys. We're like, "Hey, where you at?" But I love the fact that these guys get to like be home more often now. They're not doing live events all the time. It's just good for them. So, whatever's best for the wrestlers, man. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your bodies. But we got some other news to talk about really quickly. I'm going to tell you guys this. You may get a surprise show tomorrow from me. I haven't decided yet. But I may do a New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 15 preview. Haven't decided that. And Friday at 10 p.m., me and Rob are going to reveal the results of the Everything Pro Wrestling 2020 awards. If you're going to be here, you can be on as long as you promise not to hate. Yeah. We'll see how long this show lasts, right? But we're going to go over the 10 nominations, talk about some of our matches of the year. If you guys are free after SmackDown, come on in, join us, and we will be talking about the show. I would love to kick 2021 off talking about awards and just kicking it with you guys. So if you guys want to come in, talk with us, we would appreciate it. Let me see if anybody else in the chat wants to add anything. Who did he go back and face in NXT? Dominic Dijakovic. Or was his name Dominic at the time? Or was he Donovan Dijak? I can't remember what his name was at the time, but we'll say Dijakovic for right now because that's his NXT name. He went back to face him, and I guess that was the match that got him the job. He went and faced him, and he was like, "Yeah, he made me look like $1 million, man." In front of everybody. And don't forget, Luke Harper was also an NXT Tag Team Champion. Right. He was up there for one of the first for that too, man.
There you go.
Promise not to hate. Derek wouldn't be an award show without that.
See, sick knows.
Right. Yes, 2021 is coming, Rockstar, for sure. But I'm very proud of the wrestling community. I was happy to see wrestling fans united. Like, listen, people come in here and talk all that AEW versus WWE bullshit all they want. Fuck all that. All right, we're wrestling fans. Let's be united as wrestling fans. Have civil conversations about things, and I'm glad that I saw a lot of that this week. It was one of the brighter sides of being on like social media this week with the wrestling community, and I was just happy to be a wrestling fan this week.
Yeah, me too.
I guess that's it for the show, guys. We're gonna end it right here. Thank you for joining us and remembering John Huber, who was Luke Harper, also known as Mr. Brodie Lee. He was a tremendous wrestler, a great father, and someone that we'll never forget. And usually we end the show with a peace sign, but I want to end it tonight by just saying rest in peace to Brodie Lee.
Yes, sir.
For myself and Derek, we're out. Brodie Lee, rest in peace. You had a great career, brother.